Hello world, it's me, Dennis, and welcome to LinkedIn Editions, Reasonably Spontaneous Conversation. My guest, Joerg Storm. Hello, Joerg.
Hi, thanks for the invitation, Dennis.
Today on LinkedIn, you put the book on priorities, and let's take a look at what you shared. Life is short, setting our priorities. How do you set your priorities with all the success that you've had in your career, working at the C levels, expanding around the world? Priorities must be a challenge for you.
Definitely, definitely. I think I still, to be really honest, Dennis, I still have some areas for improvement in that topic. Yeah, um, for example, what I know, yeah, I think priority number one should be your personal health. Yeah, because if personal health is not given, then all the other priorities are maybe not so important anymore. So I think this is something uh, where I also have my area for improvement. Yeah, because I like my job. I like my job, and for sure. Um, but this is something where I know I need to do more. Yeah, I can do this better. Yeah, and even if you start with if you have no time for 1 hour exercise a day, then at least doing 10 minutes exercise a day is better than zero.
Oh,
And if you do this regularly, I think then you even see a good impact. Yeah, I did, for example, this 7 minute training. That's an app, pretty good, yeah, to do that. And if you do that regularly, let's say a month or quarter or half year, you see really some very good progress already. So this is, I think, should be priority number one in
yes.
every human's life. Yeah, uh, healthy, yeah, doing exercise and eat
Exactly, and
healthy.
family and being able to spend time because I mean you're seeing what you're doing as you're expanding the reach of you because you have an enormous reach. You have a huge number of followers, and so as you're setting your priorities, you're looking at this time in humankind. To me, it's the richest, most interesting time that we've ever had on the planet Earth as human beings. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to talk with you as a futurist, because you certainly have looked at that. What's your sense of what's going on in the world right now as far as the degree, the delta, and the amount of change that's happening?
Wow, incredible, incredible change. Yeah. I even do not even know if this is a good or negative thing. Yeah. If you
Probably,
remember,
probably
let,
both, right?
let,
It's a big.
yeah, yeah. Remember, let's say 30 years ago,
Mhm.
we didn't have any internet. Yeah, and we went out playing soccer, and our parents took us home. Had to tell us we have to go in. And now, as parents, you have to tell your kids they have to get out and take the iPhone and iPad and
Mhm.
PC away. I think this is different. And all this social media, I think we didn't have. We met our friends, uh, did sport with them, talked to them, and now you're spending hours, yeah, on social media. Also, I invest a lot of time, yeah, for example, in LinkedIn, to get that done. And if you look on the screen time in your iPad, in your iPhone, for example, you're pretty shocked, yeah, how much time you're spending. And then I think it's also a matter of priorities. Yeah, do you really want to spend that time for the social media? Because I know, maybe I'm so old already. I know also a life before, yeah, before we used to do that.
Of
On the other hand,
course.
I think there's a lot of advantages. Yeah? A lot of advantages. You can order online. You can sell everything online. You can buy anything online. You can do all your bank stuff online. Talk to your friends
Yes.
everywhere almost for free.
Yep.
So
Well,
also
it is. It
advantages.
also, but with work, now we're going into the world of leadership and the world of influencing on how we can have this hybrid of having virtual plus personal. So how is that working with digital leadership and the work that you're doing? What's your perspective on that, Jorg?
Now, this COVID accelerated for sure all this home office topics.
Yes.
Yeah, and if I go nowadays to our office or any office from, for example, vendors,
Hmm.
partners, they're almost empty. The offices are empty, and I'm pretty shocked. Yeah, if I compare it again, yeah, years ago, office was full. You always had some challenges getting a getting a table, and now we have all virtual desks. Yeah, and you book in your table a day in advance, for example, and then you're at the office and pretty empty. So for communication with the team, get to know each other, I think this is quite challenging. On the other hand, this work from home also has a lot of advantages. It saves, for example, maybe an average 2 hours a day
Yes.
commuting time. Yeah, and if you calculate it up, yeah, again, you end up at, let's say, 10 hours a week. Yeah,
Right.
you're saving. Yeah,
And you say that, but the thing that concerns me is how do you have when you have an idea and you want to share it with someone, you can't just get up and go over to another person's desk and sit down and chat about it. So when I talk with IT leaders around and I talk with people in the work, they say that that's one of the downsides of being able to connect. So how do you see this? And so how do you see the world economy right now coming out of COVID and coming into this? Will it be a Do you think it'll be a hybrid economy and a chance to be able to do? How are we going to keep the creativity and all working?
I personally think this the current mode is not too bad. I think we have, for example, let's say 1, 2 days office, the rest
Hmm.
remaining days home office, and also with home office. Yeah, if this is, you have a proper setup and all the specific required tools,
Sure.
like Teams, for example, or Cambo for a collaboration tool together, you can get a lot of things done.
Yes.
You're right. Yeah, this spontaneous talk, this is maybe not so easy, but then also you can pick up your phone and talk to the person. But I think the personal component is very important to get to know people, to have a lunch with them, talk about not only business, but also about the private things, get out with them for coffee or in the evening for a beer. And I think this is a binding, a gluing element for all the teaming. This is something which is due to COVID was very difficult in the past. I think this is
Right.
getting better now. Getting better now too. We do this also, yeah, so that we really make sure we bring the team together from time to time to and work together on site. But I think this will stay. I think
Yeah.
this will not go away, and I think this will not go back to the past. We say you have to go to office 5 days a week. This will stay for sure.
So how do you see it? Because I want to talk about the global economy. First, I see Germany as truly emerging as one of the great powers in the world. Of course, you have in the European Union, but even more than that, there's just so much innovation and work coming out of Germany. Can you give me a sense from there? Since of course I'm not there, but you're there in your sense of the ground, what the pulse is going on in Germany as far as what it's going in and it having its place in the world.
Yeah, but this is really a difficult question for me. You know why? Because I'm back in Germany after almost 6 years living in Beijing in China.
Which is
So I
the
just,
second, that's my next question is because
yeah,
I really want to know about how this is going. So let's go from Germany and then we'll expand into
okay.
China to get your interests, your
Because I see now a huge difference, yeah, China, Germany. Um, Germany, I think at the moment we have a lot of discussions on electrification of cars, for example.
Mhm.
Yeah, or this Russian war topic impact on electricity and gas prices, but looks like this is not such a big problem anymore.
Mhm.
Yeah. Um, so this was in the media how to support or not support the war in Ukraine,
Mhm.
Russia. This is in discussion, but so far, I think the business is running okay. Still have a high inflation rate, but I would not see this as an longer problem.
Right.
Overall, for in my industry, yeah, automotive. electrification as a
Hmm.
challenge to change all the workforce from combustion engine, where you have a very high value add. Yeah, you need a lot of manual work into electrification of the powertrain. This is a big change in the industry. Um, Also has a, I think, pretty big impact on the workforce in
Hmm.
Germany for all the companies involved in that area. Um, yeah, and the competition to other countries, especially China.
Exactly. And so you spent 6 years in Beijing. So tell me about that journey and your journey about understanding, because here we have this huge country with over 1 billion people, and we have such little understanding of it and what is going on in it. What kinds of insights did you get while you were over there, York?
Uh,
Can you give me some of the your top level takeaways so that we could get a better understanding of
uh, uh,
what this
I,
amazing country is?
well, I did give you, you know why I did this in LinkedIn? Because of China. Because what I saw in China, 5 years, I think I started LinkedIn maybe really being active since 1.5, 2 years ago. Because I wanted to share some of the insights I see in China to my colleagues, German friends, because no one, as you said, they don't know anything about.
No.
I tell you, I arrived there 6 years ago. I was driving the car and looked out of my car, and there were everywhere electric vehicles. Uh, Everywhere, Tesla, all kinds of vehicles, brands I've never heard of. Yeah, and I was pretty shocked because in Germany this was not on the agenda at all. And then you see that that's my mobile phone. Yeah,
Hmm. Hmm.
I didn't use any cash for 6 years. No cash, only everything digital payment, everything. And if you see that, you go in a restaurant and you can order without menu. Yeah, you order, scan a QR code, you order, you pay, and a robot brings you the food. A robot brings the food to your table. This was already 5 years ago, and now there are robot kitchens, for example, and there are a lot of difference. Yeah, if you see that, if you compare that then with your, I think you only see that when you live in a country for a longer period of time,
Of course.
and I compare this, they wow, in terms of digital transformation, I would say China is light years away. Yeah, if you we always talk about WhatsApp, they use an app called WeChat. This is, I would say, 100 times better than WhatsApp.
How
They can
is
do
it? Oh,
It's a master app. You can do everything in that one app. You don't need, like you and I on our phone, we have 100 apps, but with this WeChat, this is one how you call it, super app, which you can do everything. You can book a car, you can buy online, you can order something, you can chat. It's like a Facebook, everything integrated. So there's a lot of different things, and also from customer service perspective, I don't know if you in Amazon, yeah, you want to buy something in Amazon and you have a question to a product, you prob you cannot normally you cannot contact the seller and get immediate in a chat feedback. In Taobao or Alibaba, the Chinese app, that's very normal. You can ask in the app the seller, the producer, and they get immediate feedback. You don't need to wait anything. Yeah, you get immediate feedback, and they get an answer on your question. So I think there are also different ways. Yeah. On the positive side, digital transformation, very good. People super friendly, and are working life also very different to Germany. They're very fast, highly qualified, high motivated. They want to get things done. And my best example I always use for the difference, China, Germany. Germany, we built an airport in Berlin. The Berlin airport took 14 years to build.
yes.
14, 1 4. China built the biggest airport in the world in Beijing, Daxing, in 4 years. So,
Right.
and, and this is, there is some, if they want to do something, they do it right. Yeah.
Mhm.
And I think you see in electrification, there are a lot of car brands we don't even know which are there, which are coming there. Um, in IT area, a lot of differences. But I think also, yeah, there are also some downside. And yeah, in fact, back in Germany, I compare that and say, okay, here I have free internet. Yeah, I don't need any VPN, for example, to access Google.
Hmm.
I can open my window at night. I can drink water out of the tap. Maybe this was not such a good idea in Beijing to do. Um, but besides this, I see all my Chinese friends, yeah, they're happy. They're happy with their life, and all the foreigners I know, most of them are also there. It was a very good experience. Really good.
So do
And
you see China then expanding in these next 10 years, expanding in their influence? Because I know that they're putting a lot of money
sure,
into other countries. They're putting money into their infrastructure and getting so it's a very it seems like that they have a very strong center to be diversifying and going out.
yeah, yeah, I definitely. I give you an example. I drove 5 years from Hamburg to Berlin in the train. Yeah, and you can forget it in the train that you can make use internet. Yeah, it's not working. Even phone calls in Germany sometimes not working, and most of the time the train is delayed or sometimes are dirty. Yeah, and in China you can drive from Shanghai to Beijing in a high-speed train with 350 kilometer an hour. Yeah, and you can stream videos in the train at 350, and the trains are super on time, like in Japan. For sure, I think they have huge investment in infrastructure. I think they are especially the so-called tier one cities, Beijing, Shanghai, Shenzhen. They're super connected, very good. Um, and it is mean for sure China will increase their dominance. For example, in the electric in the chemicals for the batteries, I read something that 90% of all these chemicals are how you call it? They're not from China. They're most of them from Africa, Australia, but
Mhm.
then refined in China, 90%. Same for solar cells. They basically have a monopoly already on solar cells, because the
Mhm.
government really said, okay, we want to go in that area. They subsidize the topic. So all the other companies, like also Germany, I think we were leading in that solar topic. Then they gave up. So, and a lot of other topics. Now their agenda is on AI, um, and autonomous driving in Beijing. And I know in US you also have it in Silicon Valley. For
Yes.
example, there are
Uh,
companies like Google Waymo, autonomous driving, level 5. In Beijing and Shenzhen, also you have taxis, autonomous taxis driving around. So they focus also on that.
What a fascinating time. So are you bullish on the economy of the world, on where we're going? Because right now people are talking about how I was reading in the financial pages how the population in China is going down. They're decreasing for the first time, and that there may be some challenges, and then challenges of the tech backing down, that there could be a global recession, but I don't feel that. I don't get a sense that that's what's going to be happening. I have a feeling that we're actually going to be having a great deal of expansion and working and getting the people who are going from $1 a day to $2 a day, doubling, the having large numbers on the economy is still going to be increasing. What's your sense of it, Jorg?
It's a difficult question. If I could answer this, yeah, I
I know you would
I
exactly.
would be on an island and drinking Mai Tais the whole day. Yeah, but but I I I think I would say it all depends on Mr. Putin.
Yeah,
If we get fixed this problem very soon, then I think there will be not a recession.
right.
Yeah,
Something that we
independently from
need
the
to do.
fiscal
Yeah.
policy. Yeah, if this takes longer, plus there will be the fiscal instrument um, from the banks, maybe this has an impact. I don't think that China, the reduction of the Chinese population has an impact. On the other hand, there's huge potential for the middle class
Yeah.
in China still, and then next country which is coming is India. Yeah, will be which will be the
Another.
China number two.
Right. Because, and again, there's so much innovation and history there. I mean, back when, uh, so what are the things you're curious about right now? What are you personally thinking about and researching and getting on your mind? What's going on?
Uh, if you follow me on LinkedIn,
I
you
do.
see some good, very good. You see some of the topics, AI, for example, OpenAI, Chat GPT. I think this is only the beginning, and this is super shocking. If you test it out and see the results, although some results are wrong. Yeah.
Right, but this is just the beginning. I
Yes.
mean, this
Yes.
is just there. It's going to continue. One of the things that I know is that it's going to continue to improve at exponential levels. So even though there's
Correct.
some wrong now, it's going to constantly work on that and get better and work at that at levels we cannot even imagine yet.
Yes, yes. I think this will be a very big game changer. Now, ChatGPT OpenAI is bought by Microsoft, will be integrated into the Microsoft product, like Bing,
Mhm.
Office, for example. Maybe a big change. Other companies, they use Google has an even more. They say they have an even more advanced tool than ChatGPT, which I think is probably true. What is this? I forgot the name of that. Who won the game
No,
Go? Yeah,
exactly.
this and IBM has something with Watson. Yeah, since pretty long time. I'm sure they are all working on that topic,
And I'm
and
sure it's farther advanced than they're putting the press out to right now. That's one thing I
uh,
feel
uh,
very strongly about is that is that it is actually it's actually much more advanced than we're seeing.
yeah, and we're only talking about this Chat GPT topic, this article.
Right.
But if you see also the other tools, this video or picture generation tools.
Exactly.
Yeah, crazy. I think this is crazy, and there will be so much potential in a good and probably also bad way.
Right.
Yeah, for that topic. This I think is definitely a future trend.
Everything is a two-edged sword, right? Every piece of technology comes with both its assets and its limitations, what it's going to do. And it depends upon us to be
Yeah,
able to evolve it. Because what it feels like with AI, Jorg, is that it's like we're having an evolutionary imperative. Like when humans first came about 3 million years ago, when they first began and so I've been thinking, okay, what would be our evolutionary imperative for the next? And I thought, well, could AI be how we in our own lives are saying evolution? Will we even recognize it? Will we
yeah,
even recognize that it is alive? I often thought of, like Wikipedia. Wikipedia is almost like a hive mind that's being fed by human beings in the same way. And how would we even know if AI got to that point where it had a sentience? And would we even know that sentience from our perspective, we might not even recognize it?
sure, sure, yeah, yeah. So I think this is definitely a major topic. Future
Hmm.
electrification, autonomous driving. For me, as car guy, yeah,
Of course.
very very clear. Um, yeah, so I think it's I said, yeah,
It's a
if this,
fascinating time. So what do you talk to your kids about? You have kids, right?
yeah, yeah,
And so what's on their minds? What do you see? Because when I look into the faces of children today, I go, yeah, the world is going to be okay because they're just so they're digital natives. They have brilliant. Were they with you in China?
yeah, they have been in China, and they don't
So
like
so
Germany anymore.
so they got a chance to experience that and to go, what that what did that do to their perspectives?
Yeah, as I said, they came back to Germany, and they don't like Germany anymore. They say it's super boring, which I can understand. Yeah, if you see this the speed, yeah, and the pure power and all the things you can do
Mhm,
in the 30, 20 million people
mhm.
um, city like Beijing compared to Stuttgart, there's a big difference.
Yeah.
But if you ask me about my kids, or they go to um, is it high school? Gymnasium. I don't know the English word.
Right.
Middle school
Right.
right now. Um, and one guy, the bigger one said, I think this high school thing, this is not good to do. I don't want to do this. No one needs to do this at all. And what you do, this also, I don't want to do this either. I said, oh, okay, yeah, because you know why? Because he's with YouTube and he doesn't read the book, but he
Mhm.
watches, for example, this book, Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Mhm.
This I forgot the name of that.
Yep.
Yeah, you know that book. Yeah, he listened to that book in English and in German, and he said, "I want to do my own business. I don't want to do my own business. I don't want to do. I don't need any high school degree." And was interesting. Yeah, he says, "Why do I need to go to school? I don't the stuff. Why do I need to learn French? Why in Germany for to get to be able to go to high school, you need two languages.
Mhm.
Uh, um, English must plus French or Latin or Spanish, for example. And why do I need to learn French? Why do we cannot learn Chinese, Mandarin? Yeah? And why don't I learn anything about taxes and investing and financing? Uh, so I think, okay, that is true. Yeah, I also didn't learn that at school. I learned a lot of other things, but
Yep.
not this. So very different. I'm still trying to convince him that high school would be not such a bad idea. Uh, but maybe not everyone needs to go to have a university degree at the end.
Exactly. And as we're learning, and because whatever it's going to be lifelong learning. One
Yes.
of the things that we will never do is to stop learning, is to be, because everything has to be a continuum on that. So how do
Yeah.
you study? How do you grow? What are the ways that you do it? What kinds of of concepts and of not, I don't mean classes, but of ways of curiosity that you're doing and
Yeah.
learning.
Yeah. So we're coming. I think now we're closing the circle again. We
Yep.
are ending up at the priorities again. Yeah.
Yes.
So for this you need again time. Yeah.
Yes.
Time and which you need to prioritize that, and that's what I prioritize also. For example, even the LinkedIn. Yeah. If you do something in LinkedIn and social media, I, I I normally only post stuff which I like, which I'm convinced, which I understand. I would not post anything which I don't understand
Yes.
or don't agree to. So for this, you need to learn. You need to read that. So, for example, you have to be interested in new things like this chat GPT, yeah, or
Yes.
OpenAI. You have to test it out. On top, if I find some time, I also read or use Udemy, for example, or LinkedIn Learning tools for the one or the other
Yeah.
session. Yeah.
Well, this is our time for connecting. I want to thank you for giving me this time today, Jorg, and letting me learn about you and learn about what you use and how you are living today in this world, this amazing world, this interconnected, interdependent world. That's one thing that I'm excited about, and I think when you're talking about your children, that this is the opportunity to be able that they're going to be able to do it, and they're going to be able to see what this world could possibly be for all of us. And through LinkedIn, I got a chance to connect with you, and we can see exactly how we can collaborate in the future.
Very good. Yeah, it was
All right.
very nice. And thanks again for the invitation.
Oh, it's my pleasure. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Jorg. And thank you, everybody, for joining us on another Reasonably Spontaneous Conversation, LinkedIn edition. We'll see everybody next time.
This episode of Reasonably Spontaneous Conversations has been brought to you in part by In Search of the New Compassionate Male. For more information, go to newcompassionatemale.com.